The wire transfer clears at 2:17 a.m. You stare at the number on the screen. 184.79 was not revenue, not valuation. Cash. 3 years ago, you were refreshing your banking app to see if a client payment had arrived. Tonight, a private banker you've never met calls to congratulate you. The voice on the phone sounds different. Everyone's voice sounds different now. The money changes first, then everything else follows. Level 1. The builder. The apartment smells like instant coffee and overheating electronics. It is 3:41 a.m. 3 monitors glow in the darkness. The same spreadsheet has been open for 11 hours. Nobody believes what you're building will work. That part becomes useful. The world leaves you alone when it thinks you're harmless. You answer support emails yourself. You process refunds yourself. You handle customer complaints yourself. A good day means 12 sales. A great day means 20. You know every customer by name. Every dollar matters. You stop measuring time in weeks. You measure it in cash, runway. 38 days, 27 days, 19 days. The number constantly shrinks. You tell yourself the pressure is temporary. You tell yourself successful people endure this phase. You tell yourself sacrifice now means freedom later. The first compromise arrives quietly. You stop attending birthdays, then weddings, then family gatherings. You miss one event, then 10, then all of them. The people around you still recognize your face, but they no longer recognize your priorities. The business grows anyway. Revenue reaches $10,000 a month, then $50,000, then $100,000. The numbers begin moving faster than your ability to process them. For the first time, employees appear. 2 people, then 5, then 12. You are no longer building alone, which means you are no longer responsible only for yourself. That changes everything, because now failure costs other people too, and suddenly survival isn't enough. Growth becomes mandatory. Level 2, the operator. The office lease costs $14,000 a month. The payroll report arrives every Friday. 37 employees depend on decisions only you can make. The company generates more money than you ever imagined. It also burns more money than you thought possible. You learn a rule nobody teaches. Revenue impresses outsiders. Cash flow determines survival. Every morning begins with numbers. Margins, retention, acquisition costs, conversion rates. The business stops feeling like a dream. It starts feeling like machinery, a machine that must remain moving at all times. You hire managers, you delegate responsibilities, you build systems. The company becomes larger than any single person, including you. People begin introducing you differently. Founder, CEO, visionary. The titles feel strange. You still remember sleeping beside your laptop because you couldn't afford an office, but reputation grows independently of reality. Becomes another lesson. Perception is a currency, sometimes more valuable than cash. The compromises evolve. You lay off 7 employees after a failed expansion. You know their names, you know their families. You approve the decision anyway. The company survives. They don't, at least not inside the company. You tell yourself leadership requires difficult choices. You are correct. But you notice something afterward. The guilt fades faster than expected. That realization stays with you. Level 3. The deal maker. The private jet belongs to someone else. For now, you sit across from investors managing billions. The conference room overlooks Manhattan, 43 floors above the street. Nobody asks whether your company is successful anymore. They ask how large it can become. The distinction matters. You stop selling products. You start selling futures. Valuations climb 200 million, 500 million, 1.3 billion. Dirt. The company becomes a story, and stories attract capital. Capital attracts influence. Influence attracts power. The game changes. Relationships become assets. A dinner can generate more value than 6 months of work. A single introduction can reshape an entire industry. You learn the real hierarchy. Founders answer to investors. Investors answer to institutions. Institutions answer to nobody, at least nobody visible. You become fluent in rooms where nobody speaks directly. Every sentence contains a hidden meaning. Every promise contains conditions. Every alliance has an expiration date. The money becomes extraordinary. Your personal net worth crosses 100 million, then 300 million, then 700 million. You purchase things you once considered impossible. The excitement lasts approximately 3 days. Then it becomes normal. Everything becomes normal eventually. That is the danger. Because once luxury becomes ordinary, ambition must find a new target, and ambition never remains unemployed. Level 4. The Insider. The invitation arrives without explanation. No public announcement, no press release, no photographs, just a private meeting. People at this level do not introduce themselves. You are expected to know who they are and why they matter. The room contains politicians, billionaires, fund managers, executives whose companies employ hundreds of thousands of people. Nobody discusses ideology. Nobody discusses morality. They discuss outcomes. You finally understand how influence works. Not through speeches, not through public appearances, through networks, invisible networks. The world the public sees is only the surface. The real decisions happen elsewhere. You gain access, then responsibility, then expectations. The system rewards loyalty, but not blind loyalty. Useful loyalty. You learn when to support people, when to oppose them, and when to disappear entirely. Your company crosses $10 billion in valuation. Reporters begin writing articles about your life. Most of them are wrong. That becomes another lesson. People do not care who you are. They care who they believe you are. The gap widens every year. You barely notice it. Level 5. The Architect. The empire now operates without your daily involvement. That was once the goal. Now it feels unsettling. Thousands of employees execute systems you designed years ago. Millions of customers interact with products you no longer touch. The machine runs itself. You become focused on larger moves, acquisitions, expansion, strategy. Entire companies disappear because of decisions made during a 90-minute meeting. You purchase competitors, enter new markets, reshape industries. The numbers lose meaning. $100 million feels small. $500 million feels reasonable. A billion-dollar investment becomes another line item. You no longer think in dollars. You think in leverage. How much influence does a decision create? How much control does it remove? How many future options does it unlock? This is where identity begins, dissolving completely. People around you rarely disagree. Not because you're always right, because disagreement has consequences. Employees protect careers, partners protect deals, friends protect access. The feedback becomes distorted. Reality arrives filtered. You notice it, but not quickly enough. Power creates distance. Distance creates blindness. Level 6. The Kingmaker. The call comes before sunrise. A government official wants a meeting. Another wants support. A third wants silence. The company is no longer your greatest source of power. Your network is. You influence markets, policies, industries. People you've never met adjust plans based on what they think you might do next. That realization feels intoxicating, then dangerous. You understand something few people ever learn. Power is not possession. Power is expectation. When enough people believe you can shape outcomes you already have, you invest billions, acquire media influence, fund research, support political initiatives. Your reach expands beyond business. The world becomes interconnected. A regulation affects an industry. The industry affects a company. The company affects a market. The market affects billions of dollars. You see the entire chain. Most people never do. But every expansion requires another compromise. Privacy disappears. Trust becomes rare. Motives become impossible to verify. You begin questioning everyone, including yourself, especially yourself. Level 7. The Institution. Your name stops referring to a person. It becomes infrastructure, a brand, a symbol, an expectation. Young entrepreneurs study your interviews. Business schools teach your decisions. Governments monitor your movements. The organization surrounding you resembles a state, security teams, legal teams, analysts, advisors, assistants, specialists handling problems before they reach your attention. The machine protecting you becomes almost as large as the machine generating wealth. You own homes you rarely visit, aircraft you barely enter, assets scattered across continents. Freedom was supposed to be the reward, yet your schedule is controlled more tightly than ever. Every appearance matters. Every statement moves markets. Every absence generates rumors. You can go anywhere, yet you are never truly alone. You can buy almost anything, yet very little still interests you. You achieve the objective. Then discovered the objective was never the destination, only the pursuit, and pursuits eventually end. Level 8. The Ghost. The billion-dollar transfer barely registers. Neither does the acquisition, neither does the headline. You sit in silence more often now, not because there is less noise, because there is too much. The empire functions, the investments compound, the influence expands. The machine no longer requires effort, only existence. You remember the apartment, the instant coffee, the sleepless nights. The version of yourself who believed wealth would solve every problem. That person is gone. Not suddenly, gradually, year after year, decision after decision, compromise after compromise. You traded certainty for opportunity, time for growth, relationships for ambition, privacy for influence, freedom for power. The exchanges always seemed reasonable when viewed individually. Only at the summit do they reveal their total cost. People speak about you in rooms you've never entered. They speculate about your intentions, your next move, your legacy. Some believe you are a genius, others believe you are lucky. Most have no idea who you actually are. The truth is simpler. You built something enormous, then became trapped inside it. Leaving would damage thousands of people. Staying costs pieces of yourself that cannot be recovered. There is no exit strategy for becoming a symbol, only continuation. You are 26 years old. You have everything you wanted, and almost nothing resembles what you imagined. The phone vibrates. Another acquisition, another opportunity, another expansion. The machine remains hungry. It always will. And somewhere, in a small apartment lit by 3 monitors, a young founder refreshes a banking app and wonders whether the next payment will arrive before rent is due. He believes success will set him free. He does not know what waits at the end of the climb, but he will.